Spirit of the living God, the one who goes by many names. Some of us call you Allah. Others call you Brahman, Jehovah Jireh, Yahweh, or Oshun. Others know you simply as the one who is and was and is to come, the animating breath of our very life. Yet in this august body, in this particular time in history, I just want to call you Waymaker. For God, our party, and our nation in this season are reminded that a people who have sat in darkness can still see a great light, that you are still able to increase our joy and give us great gladness. We come before thee, painfully aware of our inadequacies and shortcomings. We realize that we stand surrounded by the mountains of love, yet we deliberately dwell in the valleys of hate. We stand amid the forces of truth, and yet we deliberately lie. We are forever offered the high road, and still we choose the low. For these sins, O God, forgive. Waymaker, move us as you moved Isaiah, to become repairers of the breach. Help us to not merely be the party of no, but be a people of moral imagination. Help us, O God, to recommit to fashioning a community of common understanding, one that rejects the spirit of isolation and seeks a shared commitment to live authentically. Stir within us the spirit that not only elects women and BIPOC leaders, but supports them, protects them, and believes them. Renew in us a spirit that speaks truth to power, rooted in righteousness that seeks not harm but healing, so we may be the ones who understand that if you are black, I got your back. If you are brown, you can get down. If you're indigenous API, we want to see you go high. If you're LGBTQIA, we celebrate you today. And that all labor, Lord, has dignity. Lord, our city is in a state of emergency, and the American project is unstable. Because instead of being a country and a city of angels, we have listened too much to our lesser ones. But Waymaker, help us to be bold in our good trouble. Help us to melt the ice that's tried to freeze so many of your children in fear. Give us living water so that working people may drink, that families may stay stronger, and every sacred life may flourish. Help our collective purpose to put steel in our spines and hope in our hands, that we may be light in this season of light. Lord, renew in us a clean heart, so that we not only hear the pain of our sisters and brothers, but feel it deep enough to act. And as we face the rising sun of a new day begun, may working hands, Lord, weary hands, hungry hands, hands that have held burdens too heavy for too long, may all these hands be strengthened, lifted, and joined together to build the beloved community we dare to imagine. Waymaker, Lord, just make a way. And all people of God said, amen, 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 and amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Now at this point, please welcome Chief Anthony Redblood Morales and Andrew Gilding Young Cloud Morales of the Gabrielino Tongva tribe for our land acknowledgement.
Good afternoon. I am Chief Anthony Morales, and on behalf of the Gabrielino San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, I welcome you to our traditional territory. We are standing at this moment on the unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva. For thousands of years, this entire basin, from the mountains to the sea, has been our ancestral home. My ancestors have walked this ground since time immemorial, and we are still here. Our continuity is a living truth. We are the first people of the land, acknowledged by the state of California in 1994. Our story of survival includes a continued struggle for fundamental justice. We are not acknowledged by the federal government, yet we are still here. We see a powerful alignment between our ancestral values and the principles of the Democratic Party champions. We strive for a future where economic opportunities lift all people up. Our native ways of being is about community. Recognizing and supporting the original first people of this place is the truest expression of diversity. Echoing that strength is in diversity. We believe that democracy is worth defending. The Gabrielino Tongva do not have federal recognition. This is profound and ongoing injustice. Our pursuit of federal recognition is at its core a fight for a democratic voice. Our presence here today is a testament of our perseverance and enduring commitment to self-determination. As you move forward, carry the spirit of this place with you, a spirit of community, resilience, and hope. Ekwa Shem, we are still here. I'm accompanied by my son, Andrew Guiding Young Cloud. He'll be leading us in a song in our traditional language. It's a welcome song where we're welcoming all of you to our traditional ancestral land.
Me ha yo ye ye he ya. 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 Me ha yo ta ta ra hum. 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 Jehovah.
Thank you, Chief Morales. Thank you for welcoming us. I want to take this moment to thank our DNC Secretary, Jason Ray. I know I speak for all of you on how lucky we are to have him serving as our secretary, and I get to work with him day in, day out in this tremendous work. I'm going to turn it over to our DNC Secretary, Jason Ray, at this time for the determination of the quorum. Secretary Ray.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, Democrats. It is so great to see you and to spend time these last few days here in sunny Los Angeles. Let's give it up for the LA Democratic Party, the California Democratic Party for being fantastic hosts for us. DNC members have traveled from all 57 states, territories, and abroad to be here to conduct the important business of our party, and I'm pleased, Mr. Chairman, to report that we do indeed have a quorum of members present today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary. DNC members, good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome to the DNC Winter Meeting. And thank you to our friends here in Los Angeles and across this great state of California for hosting us this week. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you, Chairman Hicks. Thank you to the California delegation. Now, friends, colleagues, DNC members, look, 10 months ago, on a cold day in February with the sting of loss still fresh, you elected me chair of the Democratic National Committee. I was and continue to be humbled and honored by your support. That day, and I'll never forget this, there was a big scrum of press around me, and the last question I got, the very last question I got was this: what's your message to Donald Trump? What is your message to Donald Trump? And you know what I said? The gloves are off. We're coming for you. And Democrats, I want to let you in on something. It's not a secret. It's not something whispered with hesitant hope. It's not anything to be afraid of. Well, unless you work over at the RNC, right? It's not anything to be afraid of unless you live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And it's certainly not anything to be afraid of unless you're a Republican up for re-election in 26. What I want to share, and what I think all of you know by now, is that the Democratic Party is back. We're back. The Democrats are back. We are winning. And we sure as hell haven't shied away from the fight in front of us. We took on Donald Trump. Governor Newsom took him on right here in California. Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger took him on in New Jersey and Virginia. The DNC, we took them on all over the country, in Miami, in Georgia, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Mississippi and Iowa and everywhere else. Now, did you see what the RNC chair just said about the midterms? today? He said this. Crazy. He said Republicans are facing almost certain defeat. He said there's no sugarcoating. It's a pending, looming disaster heading for Republicans. I never thought I'd agree with the Republican Party chair on anything, but I agree with them. So look here, you can build your billionaire ballroom, Donald Trump. You can eat your crab claws and caviar down at Mar-a-Lago. You can cheat in as many golf tournaments as you want. You can offer your empty promises like bringing down costs on day one while ground beef climbs towards $10 a pound. You can spend trillions on tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy while forcing a middle-class family to choose between paying $1,000 a month to keep their health care or going uninsured. You could try to, in vain, to rig the midterms in your favor, and you can fail like you did just yesterday in Indiana. But know this, Donald Trump, I told you this year what we were going to do. Your days in power are numbered. And guess what that number is? 325. Because in 325 days, guess what we get to do? We take back the U.S. House of Representatives and put a check on this guy's power. Now, that's right. Now, here's the thing, Democrats. Americans are smart. Americans work hard. And every morning that Americans wake up to do their jobs, they damn sure expect that the leaders they elected will do the same thing. By every measure, every single measure, Trump has failed the American people. He's a con man doing a con job. So what do, Democrats? We need to keep showing up for folks, to do what we say, to respond to the things that are important to Americans with a simple answer. We get it, and we're on it. Look, we know what's important right now. Shit is too expensive. Paychecks are getting eaten up by Trump's tariffs. Small businesses are getting torched by the man in the White House. The job market is dead. Layoffs are spiraling towards Great Recession levels. And God forbid if you're a young person trying to break into your first career. Think about this. Today, the average first-time home buyer is 40 years old. Think about that. That's right, 40 years old. And while folks scrape and claw to make rent, the rich bribe their way into the White House. They send themselves into space, and they get to compete over who gets to kill the most jobs. Democrats, here's the truth. Republicans didn't inherit a mess. They manufactured it. They took the economy and drove it straight into a ditch. They took certainty and swapped it for chaos. They took optimism for the future and turned it into fear, uncertainty, and exhaustion. But here's the good news, Democrats. We know how to fix things. We've done it before. We did it after the Great Recession. We did it during a global pandemic. And we'll do it again. And now while Trump calls affordability a hoax, think about that. He literally called affordability a hoax. Democrats are freezing energy bills. While J.D. Vance lectures families to be patient, Democrats refuse to ignore this cost of living emergency. While Mike Johnson says struggling Americans should just relax, Democrats are putting forth real proposals to stop health premiums from doubling. America, you deserve better than this guy. You deserve better. Think about this. The town of 200 in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia that just lost its rural clinic because of the Republicans' big ugly bill, they deserve better. The 3-time Trump voter in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, who said that she's waiting for Trump to fix what he promised he'd fix, she deserves better. The small businesses and families right here in L.A. County who are getting targeted by masked men in black SUVs, they deserve better. Now, Democrats, for the next year, we will know one speed and one speed only. We are all gas and no brakes. All gas and no brakes. Let's give America something better. DNC members, since you elected me, I've made one thing clear. Every election matters. Every inch of ground matters. Every vote matters. We don't take anything for granted. We don't ignore races anymore. We don't cede any ground. From the Navajo Nation to northern Maine. From the Delta to the High Plains, from Richmond to Trenton, Democrats are planting flags again. We're knocking on doors again. We're listening again. And we are rebuilding the relationship between the Democratic Party and the places that Washington forgot. Because as Democrats, we don't believe any American should be forgotten by their own government. Any American, every American should be remembered. We compete in every single political arena. If you find me a candidate, we will show up. And that attitude has worked. This year we laid a path to victory, a sustained victory brick by brick. Bricks in Iowa, where Caitlin Dray broke the Republican Senate supermajority and showed us that we can win in the heartland. Bricks in Mississippi, where we flipped seats and we began building power in the American South, breaking that supermajority in their state legislature. Bricks in Georgia, where we elected statewide non-federal Democrats for the first time in nearly 20 years. And we just last Tuesday night flipped an assembly seat that went for Donald Trump by 13 points. Bricks in Pennsylvania, in Luzerne County and Bucks County and Erie County, where we won county races and local offices all the way from sheriff to district attorney. And yeah, guess what? A hell of a lot of bricks in New Jersey and Virginia. So you know what? And right here in California, we leveled the playing field with one of the biggest counterpunches to Republicans by passing Prop 50. Thank you, California. Thank you, California. Yeah, that deserves a standing ovation. That's right. Give it up to California. We're not sitting back. We're not resting on our laurels. We're fighting with fire with fire. You know, people always ask me, Ken, who's the leader of the Democratic Party today? They ask it as if it's some sort of gotcha question. I actually think it's funny because guess what? We've been electing leaders all year. We have so many great, great leaders around this country. And I'm talking about all of these candidates and elected officials up and down the entire ballot. Think about this. A few years ago in Harris County, Texas, down near Houston, Moms for Liberty took over the Cypress Fairbanks School Board and they started banning books, whitewashing history, targeting our kids. This is the third largest school district in their state. And a month ago, that very school board went from red to blue, a full sweep. We've elected and retained judges who will decide on abortion rights, on workers' rights, and voting rights. We defeated that attack on voting rights up in Maine. We've won mayoral races and offices. Look at Miami. Eileen Higgins won after 30 years of Republican control. And think about this. Just a few years ago in 2021, the Republicans won that seat by more than 60 points, but this week we won it by double digits. That's what's happening around the country. And this year we flipped 25 Republican-held state legislature seats. Guess how many the Republicans flipped on us? Zero. Now look, in Little League Baseball, they call that the mercy rule, I think. So brick by brick, inch by inch, that's what I'm talking about. 2025 was the best off year election in the history of the Democratic Party. Think about that. We have won in places we've never elected Democrats before. We've gained ground back with many of the voters we've lost, and we've elected new, fresh voices who are going to usher in a new Democratic Party. One that's focused relentlessly on improving people's lives. Now, if 2025 was about breaking majorities, then friends, 2026 will be about making majorities. Democrats, it's time for the future. It's time for us to focus on what's in front of us. Anytime we look to the past, it must be in service of the future. Anytime we get tired, we find renewed energy in the future. Anytime the GOP wants to take us back to the dark days of the past, we focus on the bright days of the future. It's time to be united. United. E pluribus unum, the motto of our country. Out of many, one. That is our party. We are one team. We have one fight. And we need one strategy. But as you've heard me say many times, never confuse unity with unanimity in this big tent party of ours. There's no one way to be a Democrat. Let me say that again. There is no one way to be a Democrat, right? The door is open to everybody in the country who wants better. And let's invite them to join us. Maybe some of these folks were with us once or twice in the past. Maybe they're disenchanted by broken politics in a broken system. Maybe they've never in their wildest dreams considered the idea of voting for a Democrat. Now, I don't give a damn who these folks voted for in 24 or 20 or any other election. All I care about is whether we invite them in and listen to what's going on in their lives. Now, Democrat, it feels good to win. I know this. It feels good to win. I can tell you it's a much different feeling in this room than it was just a few months ago, right? But hear me when I say this. Winning isn't the finish line. It's the starting line. The true work is what we do after we win, what we actually accomplish. How do we make life better for as many people as possible? For the young couple in Florida on the edge of eviction even though they're working full time? For the grandparents in Arizona skipping their medication because the price doubled overnight? For the waitress in North Carolina who just wants a tip that she doesn't have to share with her corporate owners? For the farmer in Illinois crushed by Trump's tariffs? For the single mom in Texas counting every dollar at the grocery store? For all the people who don't have high-powered lobbyists on retainer in Washington? We've all heard that. In this country, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We believe that. I believe it. But there's a saying that a lot of us in Minnesota have used over the years. What if you don't have any boots? You see, the things that Trump raided to reward his rich buddies, food, health care, housing, are what gave my family our boots. Many families. We are in a moment in this country where so many Americans are on the brink, and Trump has taken their boots. So I want you to really think about something. When we win next year, and I'm confident we're going to win, right? But I'm not complacent. I'm confident we're going to win. But the question is, when we win, what will we do? Where will we go from there? How will we use our power, and who will we stand for? I know what we stand for. You know what we stand for. I know who we fight for, as do you. And I know at the heart of this American experiment is a very simple promise. Everyone deserves a better shot, no matter where you're from, no matter where you live, no matter who. Just 1 second. There we go. I'm going to say it again. At the heart of this American experiment is a simple promise. Everyone deserves a better shot. No matter where you're from, no matter where you live, no matter who you love, and certainly no matter who you are. Every single person should have a chance to build a better life for themselves and their families. Every single person should have the opportunity to reach for the slice of the American dream. Now, Democrats, we believe in a country where you can work one job, and still afford a home. We believe in a country where the grocery prices don't determine whether your kids get new shoes this year. We believe in a country where costs are kept in check and also where wages are fair, where a living wage isn't a pipe dream, right? And we believe in a country where everybody can afford their life and achieve their God-given potential. We believe in a country where seniors can retire without fear, where veterans get the care they earned, where children are fed and educated. That's not radical. There's nothing radical about that. That's just decent. And frankly, that's American. As my friend Paul Wellstone used to say, I'm going to keep saying this until I'm out of here. I hope you all start saying it with me, right? Because I think this should be the motto of the Democratic Party. We all do better when we all do better. And the all matters here. The all matters here because we're not talking just about a few of us. We're not just talking about the folks in this room. When we say all, we mean all. Every single person. Whether they're a Democrat and voted with us, Republicans, independents, anyone else out there, the reality is we're fighting for everyone in this country. Thank you, DNC. Thank you for your faith and trust. Thank you for supporting us as we fight and win. Thank you for committing to the work in front of us, because nothing in this moment is more important than the work that we're all doing together to not only save this country, but to stand up and give people in this nation a sense of hope that their better days are ahead of them and that we're going to fight for them and their families. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Now, thank you. Democrats, I am pleased now to introduce our next speaker, a man named Tommy Butts, who I met earlier this year when I came out to Los Angeles. And I invited Tommy to join us today because, like many Americans, including my family, he's faced the reality of poverty, the reality of homelessness, the reality of a system that rewards failure after failure from the wealthiest, yet brutally punishes those who are barely getting by despite working hard and playing by the rules. Tommy's story is the story of millions of Americans, a story of one bad year, one bad month, or even one bad day being the difference between staying above water or living on the streets. Living paycheck to paycheck, he lost his health care, he lost his home, and he found himself with nowhere to go. So as we listen to Tommy's story, as we hear firsthand what this fight is really about, let's remember, this isn't theory. This isn't simply politics. This is life and death for millions of Americans. This is the difference between despair and hope, between falling behind and getting ahead, between being invisible and being seen. And as long as I'm your chair of the Democratic Party, we will see every single Tommy in this country. We will fight for them. We will show up for them. We will never stop lifting them up because they are the reason that we're here. Please welcome to the stage Tommy Butts, who is going to share his story with us.
I don't know where to begin. So I start from recently what happened. I woke up with 1 cent in my EBT account. And even though it was stressful and traumatic for me, my heart went out more to my family members and friends and associates that I know with kids, and that really depends on this. That really depends on this income. My phone began ringing right when the benefits were starting not to show up. And they was calling me, do you have any extra money? Do you have any extra $20? Not, they were asking for huge amounts of money, but that's money to feed their kids, to buy medication. So that's just the bare minimum. And it broke my heart because I couldn't do anything because I myself was struggling just to meet the bare minimum of stuff I need to get done. You know, I never in my life would imagine that I would be homeless or needing medical. I'm sorry, but this is a lot. Needing your medical attention and not be able to afford it. Needing food and not be able to get it. I worked my behind off. I had a job. I did everything you're supposed to do, and I got sick. I could not work. I could not afford my insurance. I ended up on the street, and I just prayed. I said, God, lead me where you need me to go. And I ended up at the Bell shelter. They treated me with dignity. They treated me with respect. They listened to me, and they let me know I wasn't broken. I just needed help. A lot of Americans just need help. They just need somebody to show that they are worthy, they are respected, they are human, they are decent. No matter of their sexual orientation, no matter of their economics, no matter of who they love, no matter how much money in their bank account, but we all are human. We all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. You know what I mean? And as I stand up here, I'm not by myself. I'm not standing here alone. There's people that stand up here with me because I was like, I don't know if I can do this because I'm not a speaker. I'm just a person who was filled with love and compassion from what I've been through. And I said, how am I going to do this? And I said, you're not alone. The single mother whose kids are standing right beside you. The disabled people are standing right beside you. The veterans are standing right beside you. The houses are standing right beside you. The hungry people are standing right beside you. The people without food are standing right beside you. And I'm speaking for all of them. You know what I mean? Well, I'm speaking for all of them. And the main thing is, and I got to say this, I am a proud Democrat. And I was listening to what he was saying. He said, none of us is better till we all are better. And that is so very important. And it's so very needed. Right now, my brother just called me yesterday, and he said he's been on dialysis all his life. He's been on diabetic all his life. He's on dialysis. He just got approved to get a kidney transplant, a pancreas transplant, and that would not be available without health care. That would not be available without proper food and housing. And that's the bare necessities. Nobody asking to be rich or a millionaire. Just be treated with the bare necessities, no matter who you are. Everybody deserve to be treated with kindness, dignity, and respect. That's all I have to say. Thank you and bless you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. Before I go on, I think it's just important to really understand what Tommy was saying. There are people in this country right now living one paycheck, one crisis away from homelessness, from not being able to put food on the table. And unfortunately, given what's happening in this country right now, the callous administration who could care less about anyone but those at the top, more and more people are going to fall into this type of despair. So I appreciate Tommy being here, and I also want to thank Susie Shannon, our chair of the Poverty Council, for all the work she's doing in this moment. Thank you, Susie. Now look, we got to do some official business now, so we're going to move on to the approval of the new at-large member. Heading into this meeting, we had one vacancy among the at-large members of the DNC. A name was presented to you, and at this point, I would take a motion from the floor to approve Lazer Palnick from the great state of Pennsylvania as an at-large DNC member. It's moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Lazer Palnick, on your appointment. We're now going to go to the filling of standing committee vacancies. Following the meeting in August, we had a few vacancies on standing committees that need to be filled. There were 4 vacancies on the Budget and Oversight and Review Committee. In accordance with our bylaws, the co-chairs of the committee have been consulted on the 4 proposed members. The appointments for these vacancies are Seema Lajavadarian of Texas, Lazer Palnick of Pennsylvania, and Diane Robertson of North Carolina. Yes. Now, one proposed member has chosen to withdraw his nomination, and we will have a new nominee for this body to consider in the coming days. Now, additionally, there are 2 vacancies on the Credentials Committee to fill. The appointments for these vacancies are Richard Carlbaum of Minnesota and Grace Carrington of Florida. Is there a motion to approve the proposed standing committee members as it's been moved? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Congratulations to all the new members, and thank you for serving. I always appreciate people stepping up to fill these roles. We're asking you to do so much already, so thank you for the work that you'll do to help build our party. We're going to move on at this point to our Credentials Committee update. Our wonderful co-chairs of the Credentials Committee were unable to attend our meeting today. And therefore, please join me in welcoming Secretary Jason Ray to deliver the committee's update. Secretary Ray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During this week's meetings of the Credentials Committee, Members received an overview of the committee's roles and responsibilities, along with a history of the outstanding challenge to the credentials of Alabama's 3 elected state DNC members. The next steps for the Credentials Committee will be to hold a hearing during our meeting in New Orleans and to provide the DNC with the resolution to be voted on by this body. Therefore, at this time, there is nothing for the committee to report.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Before we move on to our Budget and Oversight and Review Committee report, I do want to ask us all to take a moment of silence to pray for Reverend Jesse Jackson, who, as you know, was recently hospitalized. Of course, it's serious. We just want to send healing thoughts and prayers to Reverend Jackson, a true icon, legend, champion for civil rights and voting rights, great Democrat, more important, a great American. Please join me in just a moment of healing thoughts and prayer for Jesse Jackson. Thank you so much. We're now going to move on to our Budget and Oversight and Review Committee. Following the passing of bylaw amendments at the August meeting, they have a new set of oversight authorities that I want to thank Chris Lowe and Doris for working with the team to make this possible ahead of this meeting. So at this point, we're going to ask our chair of the Oversight and Review Committee to come up and give the report. Please welcome Chris Lowe.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Chair Martin. My co-chair, Doris Kraus-Mays, was unable to be here today, so I'm pleased to provide the report of the newly renamed Budget Oversight and Review Committee. This is our first report to the DNC. We were pleased to welcome the new members to the committee that you all have just approved, and we look forward to working with all of them going forward. At the meeting yesterday, DNC staff presented a financial review of our revenues and expenses, and they did this with the highest level of transparency we have seen during my time on the committee. At the end of the last reporting period, the DNC had receipts of approximately $96 million. And of that, grassroots contributions accounted for 85% of the fundraising in that period. That is really a record level, and we should all be very proud of the work that that group does. This unprecedented level of funding allowed us to make key investments throughout the year in staff, technology, the state parties, as well as record targeted investments in the 2025 elections. This, along with lots of work from many folks, helped us to win up and down the ballot all across the country. We also were presented yesterday with a detailed review of the diverse vendor contracting strategy and our grassroots financing initiatives. Additionally, we received an update from the staff on the DNC's efforts to combat scam PACs and their predatory practices. These practices erode the faith of the real people who place their trust in us and help fund the party and our campaigns and candidates. The work the team is doing there is essential to keeping the entire Democratic campaign ecosystem healthy, and we will be doing more on this in the future. As you all know, and as the Chair just mentioned, we've made a commitment to a more open and transparent budget oversight and review process. The first step of that will become early next year, when members of the committee will be presented with a draft budget for comment at a meeting in early 2026. So, Mr. Chair, thank you for the support of this new committee. And Doris and I look forward to reporting to this body on the work on the budget in April. Thank you.
Just 1 second here, folks. We're skipping around a little bit. Let me just bring up to you right now, of course, our wonderful co-chairs of the Rules and Bylaws Committee, Jim Roosevelt and Mignon Moore, to report on their work here, the important work that they have been doing for many, many months now. I really appreciate Mignon and Jim. You know, I said this the last time, but I'm going to say it every single time because I called them right when I was elected chair. It was the first call I made to make sure they would be willing to stick on board because, gosh, help us if they didn't. They're amazing leaders, amazing chairs. Please welcome our RBC chairs. Mignon Moore, Jim Roosevelt.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Martin. Fellow Democrats, yesterday afternoon, the DNC Rules and Bylaws Committee met to consider 2 proposed charter and bylaw amendments by standing rules for the DNC general session meetings. These were provided to DNC members in the 30-day meeting notice from Secretary Wray. The first proposed charter and bylaw amendment, as well as the standing rules for the DNC general session meetings, were approved unanimously by the committee for adoption by the full DNC. We even adjourned an hour early, I might add.
Oh, no, I'm good. They're trying to adjust for the shorty here. Thank you, Jim. The second proposed charter and bylaws amendment that the committee considered was withdrawn with unanimous consent. Now, with that, Mr. Chair, we move that the report of the Rules and Bylaws, which includes the proposed charter and bylaws amendment as recommended, be approved by the RNC. I mean the RBC.
Yes, thank you so much. There'll be something if they're approving our rules report, huh? Wow. But let me again thank the chairs. They have presented the Rules and Bylaws Committee report. At this point, is all those in favor of the report say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you so much, and congratulations, chairs. Thank you. Members, I now have the very distinct honor to introduce our next speaker, our dear friend from the great state of California, Vice President Kamala Harris. No, don't get up yet. Because before we bring up the Vice President, let me say a few brief words. Democrats, you know this. We all know this. Vice President Harris has put it all on the line. She put it on the line not simply for our party, but for our country. And I'll tell you something, she worked her ass off for those 107 days. Just like she did as Vice President, just like she did as a U.S. Senator representing this beautiful state and as Attorney General. She brought energy, enthusiasm, and a deep sense of unity. She brought and continues to a vision, and yes, she brought a plan. Right? She fought tirelessly for everybody in this country who feels voiceless, everyone who deserves a champion, everyone who feels that Washington isn't working for them. Kamala Harris inspired Democrats in this room, and she's inspired countless Americans in every corner of our great country. And I am so proud to have her joining us today. DNC, Democrats, let's give it up for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Good afternoon. Hi. Hi, friends. Hi, please. Have a seat. To all of us, applause to all of us. Thank you. Okay, it's my name. Don't wear it out. Thank you all. That means I love you back. You know that. We've all been in these rooms together for many years, and I had a chance to greet all of the members of the podium earlier today. And Ken, I just want to say in front of everybody, thank you for your leadership. You've been doing an extraordinary job. Thank you. Thank you. So it's great to see you all. Welcome to California. How's the temperature treating you? So let me just start by saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you. Not only for the support you have given me and our campaign in 2024, but most importantly, thank you for what you do for our country. You know, I know the hard work that you all do every day. It is the work that is about the weekends that just vanish. It's about the work that does not trend on social media. It's about the work that may not garner you a standing ovation after you have completed an important task that is in furtherance of what is best for our country. But you all are changing lives. We are changing lives. And we are shaping elections. And all of that strengthens our country. So I start by just saying thank you. Because I am a public face of a lot of the work that we do. And people then come up to me in various places. And when they thank me, they are thanking you for standing up for our democracy, for the rule of law, for values and principles, for community, for the breadth and depth of who we are with all of our beautiful differences as a nation. When they thank me, they are thanking you for the work that you do that are about upholding basic principles that are at the foundation of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. So thank you for everything that you have done, that you are doing, and you will do. And I know, look, this year has not been easy, certainly for any of us. But the leaders here, you've not been deterred. And last month provides proof of that. Last month provides proof of that. In Virginia, Abigail Spanberger will be the first woman governor in that state's history. In New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill won the governor's mansion. In New York, Zohran Mamdani is mayor-elect, having inspired a broad coalition. In California, we passed Proposition 50. And in the Deep South, where maps were intentionally, over a long period of time, been drawn to silence black voters, the people were undeterred. In Mississippi, Democrats broke the Republican supermajority in the state Senate. In Georgia, Alicia Johnson and Peter Hubbard, I hear you over there, my Georgia friend, flipped 2 statewide seats. From Richmond to Trenton, from Jackson to Atlanta, from Sacramento to New York. The American people sent a message. They want leaders who fight for affordability, for health care, for the right of people to participate in their democracy. Americans want leaders who fight for them. And that is what we will continue to do in 2026. As we compete in every state, in every district, and every level of government. And obviously, we must focus on the midterms. But Democrats, we must also have a clear vision for what comes after the midterms and then after Trump. We need to answer the question, what comes next for our party and our democracy? And in so doing, we must be honest that for so many, the American dream has become more of a myth than a reality. Whether it's the cost of food, energy, health care, transportation, or housing, America is facing an affordability crisis. A crisis that we are witnessing is fueling cynicism, fear, frustration, and a lack of confidence in our systems. At the same time, AI has started to displace jobs, reshape the future of work, and cause Americans across the country to fear being left behind. Meanwhile, social media, which once promised us to make us feel more connected, is increasingly making us feel more isolated and divided. And all of this is happening against the backdrop of a political system that appears to not only be fractured, but broken. Both parties have failed to hold the public's trust. Government is viewed as fundamentally unable to meet the needs of its people. In these and in so many other ways, the people feel that the very institutions that were designed to support them have failed them. And they are not wrong. We must see what is happening. People are done with the status quo. And they're ready to break things to force change. And so, real talk, right? So in comes Donald Trump, casting himself as the change agent, but with empty promises to the American people. Under his leadership, we all know prices are up, inflation is up, unemployment is up, health care costs for millions of Americans are about to double. We all know that in the midst of all this, the truth and reality of the moment, that just a few days ago, he said the economy was, I had to count the pluses, they're 5. A plus, 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 plus. That's what he said when asked, rate the economy. A plus, 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 plus. There is nothing A plus about any of this. But real talk, we must be candid and clear. Donald Trump is not the only source of our problems. He and the rise of the MAGA movement, I believe, are a symptom of a failed system that is the result of years of outsourcing and offshoring, financial deregulation, growing income inequality, a broken campaign finance system, and endless partisan gridlock, all contributing to how we got here today. So as we plan for what comes after this administration, we cannot afford to be nostalgic for what was in fact a flawed status quo and a system that failed so many. We cannot advocate for nor settle for a simple return to what existed in the past. The work ahead requires us to reinvent, to innovate, to inspire, and understand that the task before us is not just a political project. It must be a project of civic renewal. It must be a project of civic renewal. Many of you know, throughout my career, I have invoked a consistent mantra: the power is with the people. Well, this idea, we all know, comes from the founders. It's not an original thought. It comes from the founders, that in a functioning democracy, we, the people, have the power to shape our own fate. But today, Americans are skeptical of whether this remains true. Americans wonder whether hard work alone is enough to ensure a good future for themselves and their families. They worry that the forces impacting their day-to-day lives are beyond their control. And is it any wonder when today so many of our nation's political and economic power is concentrated in the hands of the very few? Is it any wonder that the people feel this way? Is there any doubt that such concentration of power is the mark of a corrupted system, that it is corrosive to our democracy? So a primary task, I believe, must be to confront this excess concentration of power and provide greater agency to everyday citizens. We must reform our institutions in ways that will put the people back in charge, in a way that actually promotes the general welfare. And while a project of civic renewal may sound lofty, especially given the challenges of this moment, I believe that it is a necessary endeavor and that it be grounded in certain values that I know we all share. The values that all forms of work contribute to the public good and deserve dignity, and all Americans performing that work deserve to be rewarded fairly. That in addition to economic security, Americans' well-being also depend on health, safety, and connection with family and community. That technology should be harnessed on behalf of the public interest, and at its best, it should always seek to enhance human ingenuity, not replace it, to deepen our connections, not sow distrust among us. That the government derives its legitimacy from the people, and so it must be responsive to the actual needs of the people, be more transparent in its activities, and most of all, that it cannot be bought by outside interests. That the advancement of justice and equality strengthens society as a whole, and upholding the rights of the marginalized fortifies the rights of everyone. That to reinstate a sense of civic solidarity, we should provide more opportunities to perform national service. And we must invest in public education, public spaces, and ambitious national projects that remind us of what we can achieve together. And that the strength of a pluralistic society requires that we embrace our differences with more than just tolerance, but with mutual respect and trust, with the belief that though we are different, each of our fellow citizens is a neighbor. These are the values that I believe must guide our project of civic renewal. So going forward, let us make a new commitment to the common good, one that declares our country will be commanded not by big corporations or career politicians, not by the elite or wealthy, but by everyday citizens, each working to fulfill their potential, not just for the betterment of themselves, but for the betterment of the country. A commitment that declares that the power of this country does not belong to any king or set of oligarchs. It belongs to we the people. And I'll close by saying the stakes have never been higher, but we are clear-eyed with grit, determination, and fire that this moment demands. That when you know what you stand for, you go out and you fight for it. We fight for the future. We fight for the people. And we love our country. I thank you all very much. Thank you.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.